Hey guys, it's Yazzie with a Z and welcome back to my vlog trip. So for today's vlog trip, we're actually going to take a trip to Machu Picchu, which is located in Peru. And before going to Machu Picchu, we'll actually take a small tour at Peru.
Hola, la bienvenida a Perú.
So, Peru is actually located in the western South America region, and their official language is Spanish, and their neighboring countries are Ecuador, Colombia, and Brazil, which gives them something in common. They're all near the Amazon River. So, Peru is home to many civilizations, namely the Norte Chico civilization and the Inca civilization. They're also very much well known for their Andes Mountain, which is where Machu Picchu is located. And that's where the Inca civilization used to build infrastructures just like the Machu Picchu. And that area is very rich with infrastructure that signifies as evidence to us today of the great infrastructure that the Incas used to build during the 15th century.
So for Peru's traditional food, this is ceviche, which is basically fresh raw fish that is cured in citrus juice like lime or lemon and is topped off with chili, peppers, coriander, onions, and salt. For Peru's traditional costume, the people of Peru wear ponchos, dress, sweaters, layered skirt, and sombreros, and their costume tends to be bright and very colorful. So this is the vicuña. The vicuña is the national animal of Peru, and before, the Inca used to value them for their wool, and it was against the law for anyone to wear it but royalty. So the flag of Peru is said to symbolize the Inca civilization. So the red stripe of the flag symbolizes the bloodshed, while the white represents the peace and prosperity. And the center represents the prosperity of the country and features a llama and a cinchona tree. So Peru has various festivals, including festivals for each month of the year. Peru is a country that holds onto its tradition while increasingly embracing innovations as well. They have fiestas or festivals of all types to flourish and allow the country to grow. So the one that I showed you is the January festival, which is named as Trujillo Marinara Festival, which Trujillo is a coastal city in northern Peru and is the traditional home of the Marinara dance, which I showed you earlier. It's a dance that uses handkerchief as props. Since 1986, it's been the official national capital of this dance. Status celebrated annually for a month long of Marinara Festival held throughout the city. They usually have competitions, parades, and even exhibitions of the Peruvian Paso, which is a breed of horse recognized as a part of the culture patrimony of the Trujillo region. As you can see from this image, this is the Machu Picchu, which was created by the Inca civilization. And as you can see that they have a special technique where they stack stones and create infrastructures. The significance or the history behind Machu Picchu was that the Incas built the estate around 1450s, which is 15th century, but abandoned it a century later at the time of the Spanish conquest. Machu Picchu was built in the classical Inca style with polished dry stone walls, and most of the outlying buildings of the reconstructed in order to give tourists a better idea of how they originally appeared. By 1976, 30% of Machu Picchu had been restored. Machu Picchu has been declared a Peruvian Historic Sanctuary in 1981 and the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. In 2007, Machu Picchu was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world. In the Quechua language, Machu means old or old person, while Picchu means either portion of coca being chewed or pyramid pointed multi-sides solid cone. Thus, the name of the site is sometimes interpreted as Old Mountain. So, the construction of the Machu Picchu started from 1450s to 1460s, and the construction appears to date from 2 great Inca rulers, which is Pachacutic. There is a consensus among archaeologists that Pachacutic ordered the construction of the royal estate for himself, most likely after a successful military campaign. Though Machu Picchu is considered to be a royal estate, surprisingly, it would not have been passed down in line of succession. Rather, it was used for 80 years before being abandoned, seemingly because of the Spanish conquest in other parts of the Inca Empire. It is possible that most of its inhabitants died from smallpox introduced by travelers before the Spanish conquest arrived in the area. So there had been information describing that there were human sacrifices that happened in Machu Picchu. Though many sacrifices were never given a proper burial and their skeletal remains are given an element, however, there is evidence that retainers were sacrificed to accompany a deceased noble in the afterlife. Animal, liquid, and dirt sacrifices to the gods
were more common during their time, made at the altar of the condor. The tradition is upheld by members of the New Age Andean religion, which can be found in Peru. And during its use as a royal estate, it is estimated that about 750 people lived there, and most serving as support staff who lived there permanently. Though the estate belonged to the Emperor Pachacutec, religious specialists and temporary specialized workers lived there as well, most likely for the ruler's well-being and enjoyment. During the harsher season, staff dropped down to around 100 servants, and a few religious specialists focused on maintaining the place alone or staying there. So studies showed that according to their skeletal remains, most people who lived there were immigrants from diverse backgrounds. They lacked the chemical markers of osteological markers, so they would have been living there their whole lives. Instead, there were bones that were damaged from different species of water parasites from the areas of Peru. And much of the farming done at Machu Picchu was done from 100-man terraces. So they have a lot of terraces in the area. And that's where they would farm, and their terraces is considered to be a successful engineering, or was built to ensure good drainage and soil fertility, while also protecting the mountain itself from erosion and landslide. And approximately 200 buildings were found or arranged wide parallel terraces around the west central square. The Incas contributed such a great deal of history and practice and culture to the people of Peru now. And if Machu Picchu is not even existing, like, it wouldn't even be there wouldn't be an evidence to the civilization before, and an evidence of how people used to live before. It's one of the reasons why UNESCO World Heritage Site declared it as a heritage site, because it has essential evidence to us human beings on how people used to live before, and what was the history of the emperors, and what was their way of living, and what were they doing in order to survive. So as you can see, that Machu Picchu was rich in agricultural lands. They had terraces, and they were very much advanced in terms of architecture and building and constructing infrastructures and roads and bridges. So